the Tom MacDonald thing and the whole copyright. And I think you had Megan Fox. And remember, she like gave that insight, like, copy and paste this blurb to use. I did reach out to her. She sent it to me. And so, not that we want to talk or that I don't know if you want to talk about Tom MacDonald, but I thought that was very valid, everything you said. And a lot of people think that because I've done more than one of his reactions because they request it, the audience, they don't realize that, what happens behind the scenes. And a lot of them will even say, I'm sure it's happened to you. They're like, oh no, this artist never blocks you. Then you just have an interview with, I forget the name because he's new to me. Was he a DJ or some musician you just had a couple days ago? Blonde.
Oh, Akira the Don?
That guy.
Yeah, he's very cool. I guess he famously never copyright claims anybody. And with Tom, it was definitely a learning experience because part of me was like, all right, well, what he's doing is wrong, but do I not say anything because we are on like the same side politically? I don't want to make it look like I am, I don't know, causing problems. I guess like the female in me always has that like default setting of like, don't cause any problems. But he claimed I had done commentary on the song he put out with Ben Shapiro. God, I can't remember the name now, but mostly facts. Thank you. And it was mostly just to kind of like laugh at the Ben part of it is the funny part and why it went so viral, because you look at Ben Shapiro and nobody's first thought is rapper. So he's just on there. He's very white. He's very Jewy. It's funny. And we're commenting on it. I talked about it for maybe a minute or two or something, just played like a couple of minutes of the song. I get copyright claimed by Tom or his people. Now, whether he did that manually or that was an algorithm that picked that up and claimed it, like, doesn't really matter, because he had to then, I had to appeal it, submit like that text that you mentioned, the verbiage where you're saying this is transformative. I'm not trying to take the income away from Tom or his songs. I'm not trying to pass it off as my own. I'm not trying to pass it off as an original. I'm not just like sitting there playing the whole track. We're doing commentary on it. We're like making fun of Ben essentially. And so he had to then manually, he or someone on his team had to then manually reject my claim. It's not like, oh, and he made it sound on Twitter like, oh, it's just the algorithm. Don't take it personally. It's like, dude, like, anyone who's been through this process knows that someone has to manually reject the claim. And then the next step after that is like, you have to go to court or more of a legal proceeding. And it was either that or wait 7 days and let it die out. And sort of he kind of let the 7 days go by and it died out because I'm sure he knew he didn't have a case because I was in the right there with my usage of it. But I wanted to call it out because I heard so many other people go through the same thing with him in particular. And he just to point out that part of why he's blown up and become as famous as he is because of smaller creators. Like, not that he needs anybody now. He's got millions of followers. He doesn't need somebody like me talking about him so he can stay famous or relevant. But you can't deny that that's part of the reason why he blew up. Were the smaller creators. Exactly. And being fans of him mostly. I mean, like, I would say I'm a little more like not as enthused about him now, but like I wasn't talking about him to like shit on him. I was like kind of a fan. I was like, oh, this is interesting. He's definitely a newsmaker. He and I have been written up in like many of the same articles, so I've known about him for a while. So I was just like, oh, this is such a shame that, and just the way he responded on Twitter was so shitty, because he was like, at first he was like, oh, just email me. I'll put you on a safe list. I'll put you on a safe list. I'm like, okay, but what if you're someone who doesn't have as many followers as me? What if you're someone who's even smaller and or is not on Twitter, who can't just email to be on this safe list? Like, you should let people comment on your stuff. Like, it's kind of an unspoken rule of YouTube, is that like you kind of should let people comment on your stuff. If they're straight up jacking it and posting it as is, that's one thing, and that's worth claiming. But
absolutely,
yeah, what he did, how he went about it was wrong. And I think he said it was like delusional, or I was like taking it some kind of
He
insult
said
where I
something
was
like that, like something like relax or
taking,
something.
yeah.
I don't. It wasn't those
Yeah,
exact
yeah,
words.
like
Yeah,
I
he was
will
like,
relax.
like simmer down or something like that. I was like, dude, come on.
Yeah, something like he said get a grip.
That's it. That's exactly. You have a great memory. Or somebody
And I
in
was
your
like,
ear.
I've gotten a grip. I waited a day. I'm like, look, Tom, I've gotten a grip. I'm back. Like, here's why you're wrong.
Oh, thank you for the super chat, Frank. What a
Ooh,
look at that.
my betrothed.
What's up? Biggest problem is that Tom is
Yes.
taking all of the revenue for the videos. And thank you, Frank, for saying that, because I was trying to be a good girl and not say that. Anyway.
No, it's a good point. I forgot it.
Yes. And the hours long for reacting to 1 minute of his video. Absolutely. And thank you for the super chat. And you're absolutely right. Yeah. So Frank is
That's my man.
That's